Yeah, 6:09. That time went by fast.
We were just talking. It's just like felt like we got cut off a little bit right there. Producer, take it over.
Community Beacon, Fridays at 6:30 EST, with your hosts Michael Seville and Joel Simmons. A channel whose focus is liberty. A place where the lessons discussed and taught will create openings to a more open and freer mindset. A mindset where you may reach the height of your potential and excel. Here are your hosts, Mike and Joel.
Hey, brother, what is going on? What is going on, people? If we are online today and you are looking at us, that means that it's 6:30. That means that it's Community Beacon. That means that it's Friday. We made it.
Thank God we made it. We made it. We made it. Thank God we made it.
Yeah, come on, come on,
And I
come
mean
on,
that with
guys.
all integrity, Lord. I thank you that I have made it through this week, and my brother is here with me. Oh my God. Whew.
Ab- Absolutely, guys. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Seville, South Florida real estate guy here in Palm Beach County, here to serve you for your real estate needs. If you're looking to buy, looking to sell, looking to rent, looking to invest in real estate in this land that you stand upon,
Mm.
guess what, guys? You can own it. Don't let the naysayers stop you, guys. Don't let the naysayers stop you. So that's me. On the other side of the screen, you see the co-host with the most, the brother, the motivatorpreneur.
Woo.
That was a lot to get out. The motivatorpreneur, Mr. Joe from the Tenacity Foundation, is my brother from a different mother. Hey, brother, I know you got to get your saying, but no, go ahead, get your saying, and I'll say what I have to say afterwards. Go ahead. I've just introduced you. How
I
we
love
doing?
it. I love it. Glad to be here with you, the real estate king, Michael Seville. I know the deal. You know the deal. Keep it real. All right, let's go.
We're gonna have. I already know we are gonna have a really good time on the show
Oh,
today. Number one, let me shout my brother out. My brother put an event on Tuesday, guys. You all missed an excellent event. We got a chance to sit down over there in Thousand Oaks. Uh, had got some information in regards to financial literacy, which is interesting. I just heard someone say, "Are people financially illiterate, or are they programmed to think a certain way?" And I
mm.
thought that was an interesting thought and concept. They said, I remember, I think it was Dame Dash. He said, when I was in school, no one ever taught me how to spend my money or what to spend it on. And so,
Mm.
we end up getting, when really at the end of the day, how to keep the money it is that you get. That's that's one of the biggest things. I know for a lot of us that are, making a lot of money, there's a lot of ways that you can lose that money. And some of that, you got no choice. So it was interesting, the thought process. But if you didn't get a chance to go, I was able to go and support the brother. His family was there. He was educating the community on financial literacy and what he has going on in those realms. And so I'm telling you guys, you got to figure it out. You got to understand these asset vehicles, these different, asset classes, different investment vehicles, because you want to be prepared, right? I think a lot of us have not, because if we got it, we wouldn't know what to do with it. You know, some of us have had it, and then we didn't know what to do with it, and it was taken away. You know, so ignorance is not bliss. A fool and his money will soon be parted. So get this education while you can. You got 2 gyms in the community, guys, willing to give information. And it was a good 2 hours of you being able to go down there. Actually, it was an hour. But the brother would have stayed later if you needed him to. So, because I know you were talking to a lot of people when I left. So shouts out to him, and definitely giving him his flowers, as we continue, because he's doing some great things, and he's tirelessly working doing it, guys. I mean, he's tirelessly working doing it, to bring you this information to add value to his community. So for that, you got to salute him and take my hats off, man. I'm telling you, I'm so blessed, and I guess it's intentionality with it as well. First off, all praise due to the Most High. But secondly, it's like you got to be intentional about the people who you get around, and not just get around, who you keep around and you stay around. Be intentional with that, man. Have people that are on your side, people that are also moving at if not the same level, a higher level than you are, because you want to get to that information. You want to keep these great people around, and Joel is definitely one of those people. I mean, we don't have enough time in the show to give him all his accolades. So I want to give you props, brother, on that.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
And so let's get into it, guys. Let's do some real quick housekeeping before we get into our topic of the month. Actually, I got things to talk about. And we can delve down this rabbit hole. I hope you indulge us, guys. Indulge us on this Friday. But at least you're going to get some gems after you leave out of this episode. I guarantee. Guys, Monday nights, what it takes. I'm still doing that every Monday. It's dropping at right around 9 o'clock. I am taping a little bit earlier sometimes. I think I was actually taping 30 minutes before the show. I'm tired, guys. You guys got to know, I'm up at 3:30. I'm going throughout the day, mentally working. I'm physically exhausted because I am in the gym. I am doing what I need to do. And then I try to get to bed early, but on Monday nights, I do take it in a little bit later because I want to make sure you all get this information in regards to what it's actually going to take to get your business going in the right direction. Listen, I'm going to tell you one thing about it. If you go back, and even if you look at my internet, if you check my internet history, if you just check my history, I've been doing this, and I've been doing this for a while. So there's no overnight success. And if it was overnight success, it took me 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to do it, right? So go back and check it. I'm telling you exactly what I am doing in my business now. And I'm still turning up another level, trying to figure out ways I turn up another level and be efficient. So go and check out what it takes each and every Monday nights. It's dropping at about 9 o'clock. Of course, on Wednesdays, no introduction needed, but I will introduce it. It starts with who, guys? It starts with me. It starts with me each and every Wednesday. The Tenacity Foundation, hosted by Joel Simmons, the Motivatorpreneur, is dropping at 12:30 p.m., interviewing people from the community, interviewing entrepreneurs, interviewing very successful people, guys, authors, speakers, etc., counselors. I mean, you name it, he's interviewing them. And the brother is, the way that he interviews them, you're going to get something different, right, from any other interview. Brother, who do you have on there this Wednesday?
James Hepner is back again. James Hepner back again. My man is doing his thing. We had to do a double interview. Like I said to you last time, this one got really special. It was very touchy. Mr. Hepner, he really broke it down in such a way. And it was a very enjoyable conversation. So y'all come and check out that second piece. Please do. Please do. Check it out. And then right. I see it said what it takes every Monday. Let me just go back to what it takes. Mike is dropping the gems. This brother knows what it takes. All right, he does, because I got to give him his credit as well. He definitely put me on this track that I'm on by just constantly reminding me of, if you don't have someone in your corner that can see your blind spots and that can help you and that can also encourage you to be all that you can be, then you need to get somebody. You need a Michael Seville. So that's what
Absolutely.
Mike Seville is. He's the type of guy who's like, listen, man, I've been watching you. You ain't hitting it just yet. You got so much more. You got so much more. You're doing it, but you got so much more. You're doing it, bro, but you got so much more. You're doing it, but you got so much more. Let me tell you something, man. And I mean, that constant encouragement, and that's part of what we're going to go over today when we
Yeah.
start talking about the process, the process. Put the title up there for us, Anna. The process of how to make relationships or business meaningful and successful. Tonight's the night, 6:30. Make sure that you're liking, you're sharing, you're commenting, you're hitting the notification button, because right now it's all about the process of how to make relationships or business meaningful and successful. And if your relationships and your business isn't meaningful, it don't mean nothing.
Don't
If it
mean
ain't
a thing.
successful, it ain't worth having. Period. It needs to be meaningful and successful. What is the use of having a business if it's not successful? What is the use of having a friendship if it is not successful?
It's
What is
nonsense.
the use of being married if it's not successful? What is the use of having kids if your relationship is not successful? Every single thing that you do needs to be meaningful and successful. You need to be looking for the best out of it all. All of it. All of it. So let's get into this. Mike, tell me, my brother from another mother. Woo!
Either the coffee is cooking it, jumping in, or the brothers pushing through it. I love it, guys. I love it. It helps to define these different things, right? I think it helps to define what is successful. I will keep it simple. Here's Mike Seville's definition of successful: to be fruitful.
Woo!
Right. I think we're like we want these different things to be fruitful. We want our relationships to bear fruit, good fruit, right? Right. But we want our relationships to be fruitful. We want our business to be fruitful. It makes absolute, brother. You spoke about it the other day, and you spoke about you went through the 4 quadrants, right? The different quadrants, from being employed, self-employed, running a business. And the guys, if you haven't had a chance, check out Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about these different quadrants. And the last one is where you got business, and what's underneath business? Investment. Okay, so we got all these different things, and when we talk about the business part about it, you so eloquently put out there, and I'm in total alignment and agreement with what you said, was when you get to that self-employed part, because a lot of people go from employment to the self-employment part, and when you go to and stop there, right, because of lack of systems, being able to leverage the different processes, etc., and then you went a little bit more in depth into it. But I want to stop on that self-employed part. You're creating yourself a job. And one of the things I always tell the brother when you go into self-employed and you're creating your own job for yourself, I can't think of a boss that's worse than myself to myself. Because what happens is that I'm always harder on myself, and then I'm always easier on myself. So it's like this that accountability part there is real tough when you're doing it within a vacuum, right? Without having this something standardized, without having that. And I'm telling you guys, you end up working when you create a job for yourself, you are almost officially working 24/7. You're waking up in the middle of the night thinking about stuff you ain't supposed to be. You're not supposed to be. That's supposed to be your sleep time. You wake up early in the morning. My mother used to call it fretting. You know what I mean? But we will, for the sake of everybody's anxiety. You got this anxiety when you create that job for yourself. So the importance of having the process in your business is paramount, because what happens is we allow the process to do the heavy lifting. That's the leverage in it, right? I've been, I'm up early in the morning, and I let people know, hey, it's 4:30 or whatever time I'm at the gym. I take a picture. Hey, I didn't write that quote and just roll back over in the bed. I didn't have someone put it. I'm at the gym and I'm doing what I need to do, and I go out throughout the day. And I spoke with someone, DM'd me. They said, man, this person's running their own business. They said, man, how do you, I'm having trouble, because I'm writing quotes, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, because most people are going to do, especially if you have clients, you're going to do your clients during the daytime, the business time, whatever time that is. Let's say it's 8 to 5. But as part of the business, you're doing your marketing and your sales. People may be asking you for quotes or whatever it is, and you're even putting together presentations, and you end up doing that from 6 to 9, 10 o'clock sometimes at night, sometimes even later if you have a deadline that you want to meet or you want to be prompt. And then to get back up at 4:30, people can do it, and people do it for maybe what some people will call small stretches of time. Maybe it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And I went, and I'm talking about it because I went through it. I would go through 1 to 3 months of real high productivity. And then I crash. And when I'm talking, and here's the thing about businesses and especially in the real estate business, that we work in 90-day cycles. It's, between 60 and 90 days. So you don't know you didn't do anything until it's 60 to 90 days later. You're like, wait a minute. I don't have any closings coming up, right? But that was that time you took off because you crashed, because you were physically and mentally drained, what some people call burnout. So you have a good 3 months, and and this is where this feast and famine happens, especially in the real estate business. And I'm sure it's in a lot of different businesses as well, is you have what they call the feast or famine. One month you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 closings, whatever the number is. And then all of a sudden you get into, when you know that paycheck is coming in or that paycheck is there, you take your foot off the gas. And then what happens is that all of a sudden 60 to 90 days from there, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't do what I was supposed to be doing 60 to 90 days prior. You don't learn until then. And now you have to ramp it back up again. And then it's just this feast or famine. This is feast or famine. And so what the process allows is, the process is not based on, those closings, and really got to figure out a different way to do the closings. The process is the processes of your business is what's going to do the heavy lifting. That means that every day, it starts off with your schedule. What does your schedule look like? What are you allowing within your schedule? Because it's your choice to do it, right? You don't have to be up to 6 to 9 o'clock at night writing quotes or whatever. You can say, okay, I'm up in the morning. I don't really talk to clients before 12. Let's just say that. And so let me more so do the afternoon. So between 1 and 3, all I'm doing is quotes, right? Like you figure, you put that into your schedule, your routine. You put into your schedule, allow your schedule to do the heavy lifting. After 3 o'clock, I'm done with that part of it. And what you can't do, you let people know, because the problem with, these deadlines, et cetera, is that you don't necessarily, the communication, we'll talk about communication today, but this is part of it. You're not communicating to the client. There's no expectations. That's what kills a lot of small businesses. It's not setting expectations up front. Hey, listen, every Friday by 5 o'clock for my real estate clients, I'm going to give you a call to update you. And if you don't pick up, you know what I'm calling for, because I'm telling you, I'm leaving a message. That's my communication process, because you don't want 2, 3, 4 weeks to go by and you didn't talk to the client because you didn't have anything to tell them, right? Or you had bad news and you were trying to push it off, because nothing gets pushed back like bad news in real estate, right? Like little thing like, oh, you didn't sell the house. Like, what's going on? What's happening with the market? What's this? You're like, man, I can talk to them about the interest rates next week. I can talk, I can do, I can tell them about this thing tomorrow. You're always pushing it off. But if you already up front have your process, you understand your process, and you already understand what it is you have to do, you don't put it off because you have to make that phone call. It does the heavy lifting. And guess what else that frees you up? Now, if you decide not to work the weekends, and my schedule is set up so where I don't have to work on certain days on the weekends for the most part. That's my children. I'm loving that time. I'm not thinking about this. I'm not having anxiety because the longer you put off bad news, the bigger it gets. Right? It just gets bigger. It just gets bigger. It's bigger. But I allow the process to do my heavy lifting. I don't want to call this person when we talk about follow-ups. I don't want to call these follow-ups. Guess what? If you already have your followed up process scheduled, this week I'm calling, and this is one, I'm taking it from George. Shout out to George and Orlando Realtor. This week I'm calling all my A's and all my Z's. And I'm going to do it between 11 o'clock or 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. You don't even have to worry about it. I don't want to do it. I'm just doing what's in the process. I've allowed the process to create this to happen, and I need to follow this system. As long as I'm following the system, I'll be able to make these phone calls that I don't want to make because it's not even a thought. It's just a button that I'm pushing in my brain. Hey, Mike, it's 11 to 12, 11 to 1, whatever time it is. You need to do all your follow-up calls, all your A's, all your Z's. Next week, you're going to do all your B's and all your, Y's or Z, X's, whatever comes before Z, right? So whatever it is however you decide to put this process together, you follow it and it becomes your heavy lifting. There's no, I forgot. There's no more, I don't want to do it. There's no more, like you're helping with your discipline. A lot of us aren't that disciplined. Just if we're in the free together. But if someone tells you to do something, you're going to do it. It's just, we allow this to happen within our business. And I'm telling you what happens is that if you allow your processes to do your heavy lifting, you have no choice but to be fruitful. You have no choice but to be successful, as we're calling it, right? Allow your process to do your heavy lifting. I'm telling you guys, if you don't take anything else from this conversation, that is a key, and that's a gem that is working wonders for me.
I love it. I think that's powerful. You know what I mean? The whole idea of, whether it's the A and Z's or, the B and Y's or the C and X, whatever that is, just having that process. And I love that you laid it out there. Like you can set it up whichever way you want to. You can have a system. Yeah, I mean, and that's basically what you're talking about is people have to create a system, right? I think this is exactly where it is. If you look at my schedule, I have a system. I have the opportunity to augmenting certain things within inside of my system, but it's the exact same system every single day, Monday through Friday. And I have an assistant, and my assistant helps me to stick with my system, and it's a beautiful thing. I love it. As a matter of fact, one of my assistants, she'll text me first thing in the morning. She'll send me a message of everything that I'm supposed to be doing in the day. And it's like coming out the box, at 8 o'clock, here's a little reminder. Be ready. Because right. X, Y, Z, this is about to happen right now. And so it's like bam. And I like that. It's a good thing, and then I created a new process, and so one of my new process is this. So read the book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Great book, y'all. Great book. You want to understand how to get your processes and your system in order, read this book. So because he'll talk about things called habit stacking. And it's amazing. So like, for instance, one thing that you can do, one thing that I do is that whenever I talk with somebody and they desire for me to follow up or we need to have another conversation, I immediately text my assistant and I give them the name and the time and the date of whatever that is. This is my process because half of the issue is follow-ups. And you know what? The treasure, the gold is in the follow-up. That's where it is. If you don't have that as part of your process, then you are limiting how much success you are going to be able to have in your business and in your relationships. Because the more times you forget to follow up, the thinner your relationship gets. You want to build a healthy relationship, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. It's not always about business, it's about relationship development. It's about understanding the other individual and giving them the opportunity to be able to speak on their own behalf, and you actually receiving that and exchange value for value, right? So now my process is, it's just, hey, okay, I just spoke with Mike Seville. We're supposed to be meeting next week on Wednesday at 3:00. Ding. It is so much easier for me to send that text message to my assistant than it is sometimes for me to thumb through my calendar, setting up the right dates. I mean, this is very simple, y'all, setting up the right dates. Sometimes I'll set up the wrong date. Sometimes I won't notice that there's something else there that I haven't stated I'm going to be a part of, and I double book myself. I mean, that's what I'm doing because I'm doing stuff on the fly. Like, I got so many things going on. For me, this simple little process of just sending this over there, and then if there's a conflict of interest, my assistant will just hit me back and say, hey, listen, you're supposed to be meeting Kathy at that time. Oh, my bad. Can you call Mike back? Or let me call Mike back. Whichever way.
Right.
Yeah, but it also helps me to double check. So this is just like one thing. I'm not going to go off on a tangent on this thing, because the whole thing about it is like, this is what he would call habit stacking. And the habit is that when I'm on the telephone and I make a call to action with Mike, my habit now to stack that is, number one, when I'm on the conversation, I'm going to do a call to action before I end. So I got a conversation, I'm going to make a call to action. If I make the call to action, I'm going to send a text to Anna. If I send a text to Anna, she's going to create a calendar event. Once I see the calendar event, I'm going to approve it. Now, whenever the day comes up, all I got to do is just pick up the phone, show up to the Zoom. That's it. So this is habit stacking, and this is how we create processes and how we move those processes into a system, and then how a system runs the entire thing. The more processes that you can put into your system, the better your system is working without you having to manually press levers and push buttons and open doors. Automation. And this is automation without automation, right? Because we're talking about people doing this stuff. However, by us working together and supplying the need, just a little bit along the way, it becomes a conveyor belt of success. And we can check off success along the road. And before you know it, we have put ourselves in a position to win. And that's what we want. We want win, win, win. Like Mike said a long time ago that he learned from his mother. Win, win, win is the ideal situation. What'd you say, bro?
Absolutely, brother. I loved how you quoted my mother. Shouts out to her and the information she provided. It's a win, win, win. And you know what I got from that as well is that that habit, the process is the habit. So the habit is like it's automatically going on. Right. And when once again, this is, you want to start doing things to where it's just second nature to you. This is what allows you to use less mental energy. When you wake up in the morning, guys, you have a finite amount of mental energy to expend. This is why by about 6 or 7 o'clock, I was talking to Kathy at the event on Tuesday. And by 6, it might have been 7:30 at that time. I think it might have been 7, somewhere around that time. About 7 o'clock. I'm talking to Kathy. And for you all who don't know who Kathy is Joe's lovely wife.
Yeah. And
best
friend.
Shouts out to Kathy. And so I'm talking to her, and then she's like, Mike, what did you just say? And I meant to say a street, but I actually said a time. I said, because I was in my mind, I was like, by 6:30, I'm done. but she was talking about Broadway and Blue Heron. What's going on Broadway and Blue Heron? And I was like, yeah, Broadway and 6:30. And she was like, she started laughing. She said, Michael, what? 6:30? This is that mental, because by 7:30, guys, I'm telling you, my mind is just spent because I'm using so much mental energy, right? So to get to the point of this is that these processes allow you to have more mental energy as you go out throughout the day. Because
hey, shout out to Kathy. She just wanted Mike to know she said hi. She's watching the show and she wanted to say hi to you.
What's going on, Kathy? But Kathy, and she knows, she remembers, she was like Broadway in 6:30 or something, but it was just, my mind is just, by that time I'm tired. You start to, for those of us who have physical jobs or etc., like you're tired towards the end of the day. But if you have these habits and you start off in the morning and doing it, like I'm not even thinking about it, boom, I'm in my Bible in the morning. It's not even a thought. I'm not getting up in the morning like, man, what book should I read today? What should I have? No, I already know what I'm reading. My first thing is the Bible. The second part is it'll be, I'm jumping in to, do my cold shower. I'm doing a cold shower. Boom. I'm doing that. Then I'm doing, it's just all these things are just automatic. I'm just moving throughout the time. You understand what I mean? And there's no thoughts. By the time 7:30, 8 o'clock rolls around, I still have all my mental energy left because everything prior to that was just automatically done. These are already set. This is my routine. This is my process. So now 8 o'clock, now I'm prospecting. So you have to be sharp when you're prospecting. And you do that for, 2-3 hours, however long it is that I'm doing it for the day. Right. And so you're mentally, and by the end of that, like I'm exhausted because you're constantly thinking, you're always coming up with different scenarios. You're talking to different people, different personalities, different energies, etc., and you have to perform in that way that you're dealing with it. Hold on, even though you're doing that, if you're following a script, which is another part of the process, you're following a script. That script does the heavy lifting. Now you don't have to think about the next question you're going to ask your ask your prospect. Your prospect is going down this process. What's going on, brother?
No, we're good.
Okay, yeah. So now you already know the questions you need to ask, because there's certain information you need to elicit from your prospect, right? These questions help you to elicit this information, although the trust may not necessarily be there. So instead of you trying to figure out different ways, because I'm a pretty empathetic person, I can really get to the root of a problem, right?
Love it.
But the process, my process to do it, especially before understanding these scripts, understanding sales, my process was more time consuming. My process is more emotionally involved. Where is this exactly leading to? You know what I mean? And when you're initially on the phone, a cold call, or the first time you're really having a deep conversation with a prospect, you kind of don't want to go down along these paths. You want to save that for later. You want to save that for that meeting that you set up, where they actually do have 30 to 45 minutes. You know what I mean? You want to do that. You may want to save it for that in-person meeting. In real estate, you always want to get the appointment. You want to save that for, something later on down the line. That's when you can get really, really in depth. But that first phone call is like establishing, hey, how can can I help you? Can I help you? That's number one. Do you have a problem? Yeah, I have a problem. Can I help you? And then, okay, let's set up for some other time where I can get more in depth with how it is that I can help you, or I can do some more detailed research onto how it is, whatever solutions I have can actually help you, right? Because we all can sell a house. Like, it's not about selling a house; it's about actually solving the problem from the person, whatever problem is that they have with the real estate that they're dealing with, guys. But once again, it's all processes. And the more processed you get, the more habits you form, the more processed you get, the more efficient you are. The more efficient you are, the more people you can help. And then if we're talking about business, the more people you can help to solve their problem, what happens next? The more money you make, right? Mm-hmm. That money is providing value. How many people can you provide value to? You can spend your time with one person and make $1,000, or you can have a more efficient, thought out process and leverage. And all of a sudden, instead for that one person, because it used to take me, like I used to have 2 or 3 clients, and I'm like, man, that's it. That's all that's all I'm handling for this month. Right before I got a process, I'm like 2 to 3 people. Oh my God, I gotta handle this part of the closing. I gotta handle this part of the process. This guy's calling me. I'm talking to him at 10 o'clock at night. This person is a truck driver. I'm talking to him at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like there's no process. Everything is just all up in the air. So I'm totally exhausted because I don't have the processes in order to handle it. But once you get the processes, now all of a sudden you can handle 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many people you want? How many people do you want to handle? Because you're just running them through this same process, right?
Beautiful. I love it. And then the other thing about it is like something that you said was an excellent segue to the second half of our discussion, right? So processes, or habits, processes, systems, right? Developing those. But then the second part was that meaningful, making it meaningful. If you make meaningful a part of your process, then you will make it meaningful every time. So I was chit-chatting with Wayne Gill on LinkedIn. He put out like 10 steps or whatever it was, as far as sales strategy. And he was like, is there anything that, that could be added? And I was adding, like confidence, having confidence, and then we had gotten into a discussion, either in that message or a different one, but the conversation was this. I said, I offer value before I meet the person. I offer value while I'm talking with them. And then I offer value afterwards as well. So it's just value overload. It's a successful relationship. If you want what I have, I'm looking for you to ask me how much. I'm looking for you to ask me, what do we do next? What's the next step? I'm looking for you to call to action, because in my business, my objective is really if I can prove to you that I have something that you need, you list out what you need. I'm listening, I'm taking the notes, and I can prove to you, we can do that. We have that ability. My objective is not just to say, oh yeah, you needed somebody to paint your house blue. I can paint. Like everybody can paint, but can they paint well?
Right.
Anybody can throw some paint up on the wall. There's kindergartners right now finger painting all over the place. Sometimes they get it on the wall. Does that mean mom and dad are happy? No. Mom and dad are not happy because they finger painted the walls, because that is not what they thought was what they needed. What they needed and what they wanted was a beautifully painted wall, with all the edges and the trimming done correctly. So if you're offering painting, you have to offer that value and that confidence within that. If I'm offering you a digital solution, or I'm offering you the ability for financial literacy, or I'm offering you the ability to be coached into a level that you have not reached yet, let me show you how I'm going to do this. All right. Now I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm going to tell you something. Number one, these are 2 things you can add to your life right now. And there's a book that you should be reading. Matter of fact, what's your address? I'm sending it to you now. Here it is. $20, $25. With Amazon, you don't even have to pay shipping. You just $20. I send this over there to them. Maybe you don't want to work with me, but you love me. See, because the thing about it is that whenever it comes down to relationships, is that if you have the product or the service that people need, then it's not real. If you can present your value well and they still say no, it's probably not because they don't need it. It's probably because it's just not the right time. And then, the gold, the treasure is in the follow-up. Call many people many times. So that even if you got to call the same person, call them many times. If you got to call a different person, call many people many times. You just keep following up, because when the time hits, I mean, I wish I could see hands out there because I'm a very interactive individual. And I would say this, how many of y'all out there, you're looking at the replay of this, wave your hands in the air if you call somebody up like 6 months, 9 months later, or maybe the business shut down and you just happen to see them and all of a sudden they need exactly what you had. And you're like, oh, or they tell you 3 months ago, they just hired somebody else to do it. And you're like, why didn't you do that with me? Call many people many times. You got to develop relationships. And the way that I learned it from my mentor is CPC. CPC, constant personal communication. I don't care what you have to do. I love and this is just a different process, right? Mike's process might be different than my process, but call constant personal communication. So depending on what type of level of service you're giving, it may be as simple as a text. Hey, you know what? Just thinking about you. A phone call. Hey, what's going on? How are you doing? You don't always have to offer your service. If they know you and you presented value, then all you present is value. Hey, listen, I'm just calling you up, man, checking up on you. I remember the last time we talked, and you mentioned what was actually going on in their life. They just got a new dog, or they just got married, or they just had a kid. And you're like, hey, you know what? You told me you had just got a kid. What'd you name them? How are they doing? Are they creeping? Are they walking? Are they talking? All right. I just want to check in with you. All right. Okay. You take care. I'll probably call you back in a couple of weeks or another week. They will then pursue you for what you have to offer, because people remember, and they remember those that put their own personal life ahead of their own. People love to talk about themselves. If all we do is talk about ourselves, nobody wants what you got, because they've heard enough people tell them about how good they are. No, interact with people, make meaningful relationships, dive into their life, take the dive, enjoy them. I got a buddy, Chad Meeks. Shout out to Chad Meeks, mobile optical solutions. This guy is a genius. We ought to have him up here talking about processes. His processes are bar none, above and beyond so many. And the quality of what he does for his clients and what he does, to going into the month that he met with them, the conversation he had in his notes, whatever they did for him. And if they had gone to somebody else during the period of time where he hadn't seen them, how he still takes, because he does mobile opticals, he does glasses, he'll still take their glasses and fix their glasses from somebody else. We're talking about quality solutions. This guy's going above and beyond. And everybody remembers him. He doesn't come up to you and say, hey, Joe, remember you were going to buy some glasses from me? Value, y'all. Make your relationship meaningful. What'd you say, Mike?
I love it. The only thing I would add, and you kind of alluded to it, is just caring about the people that you're serving. And this, I would say, for me, what I had to do with that is to create a standard. What I learned and what works for me is that I can't work. I'm not adept with working with everybody. Some people rub me the wrong way. I can get the job done, but I'm not the most excited about having a conversation with certain people, because we may not see eye to eye on whatever our foundation, our morals, our ethics, our thoughts, that kind of process. And it means something to me to be able to have a conversation with a client, and we have some kind of, like Joe mentioned before, a win-win-win-win thing. I'm not here to skin people out of everything. You know what I mean? I'm here to add. Hey, Kathy, shouts out, practice me. Absolutely. Absolutely, Kathy. I got a story about that in regards to that, and maybe we'll speak on it because Kathy did put it up there. Let's engage with Kathy for a moment. What we learned was, and I'm in a couple of masterminds, and one of the masterminds we were talking about this practicing, and we're saying we can get on the phones and we can be on the phones for 6 to 7, 8 hours, but we need to do this thing like a professional athlete. Like if you want to be at the top 1% of your field, when you look at the professional athletes in the NBA, the NFL, etc., that's the top 1%. So you want to run yours, you want to practice like they practice to play, and you're in and I guess I would make one caveat is practice makes progress, because we'll never perfect anything, but so just so people don't get caught up in regards to procrastination, because a lot of people, because being perfect allows people to be procrastinating because they want to put out that perfect thing. You'll never get perfect, but practice does make progress. But I was listening to, getting back to that top 1% is like Kobe Bryant. They said, Kobe, how come when you get into these situations you perform? Kobe said, it's because I've done it 10,000 times before. So anytime I'm in that situation, I've been there before. I'm comfortable. I've done it 10,000 times. So I know what I need to do. And he said, I know what I'm comfortable with and what I'm uncomfortable with. And so I practiced to be comfortable. And that's those 10,000 times. So shouts out to Kathy for putting that. You got to get out here and practice. And getting back to the part of just caring about your prospect, caring about your client, being somewhat aligned with these people. Once again, business is unlimited. That's number one. That's one thing you need to get into your mind. Business is unlimited. So sometimes we come from a place of scarcity where, like, if we turn this down, I don't know where my next piece of business is, or I can't turn this down. We used to have a saying back in the day, don't turn down nothing but your collar. This is wrong, guys. All money is not good money. There's certain people that when you're in the house selling or helping someone to buy or sell a home, like this is a 3, 4, 5, 6 week investment of time where you're going to be talking to this person. And if you aren't aligned on stuff morally and ethically, what's going to happen when it gets time for negotiations? What happens when it's time to talk about, reductions? What happens when it's time to, like, there's all these different things that come along with it. And when it's time to have that conversation, if you all are on the line and you kind of bump heads, like that makes the relationship strenuous. And if anything goes wrong, you're the one to blame. You're the one to blame because you knew from the beginning that this may not necessarily have been a great fit. Some clients don't know. Some clients are just looking for someone to help them who can provide them the information. So there's going to be times when you turn them down. But if you care for these people, you guys are somewhat aligned. You figure that out, and that comes through experience, guys, because you never know. At the beginning, you want to take on people because you don't even know what it is what's best for you. But then but just putting that care behind it, having those conversations. Joel spoke about following up and giving them a call. It does not necessarily have to be a sales conversation. Make sure, I'm not telling you to spend hours on the phone with people. Make sure that you have a process for this phone call where you're calling to check up on somebody because you genuinely want to do that. I know we've gotten away from that, but this is how you tried and true. You build in your book of business in a lot of these different situations. In real estate, we build our book of business. I'm sure, Joel, in your industry, you're building your book of business. So it's like but you're having a part of building that book of business is to have that meaningful relationship, which means I actually care about it. I'm just efficient on the phone about how I care. So now when I get on the phone, I'm asking you these questions. Some people use, what is it, frog or Ford or something. You're asking about these different things in regards to, how they're doing. And then you get off the phone. Hey, listen, I got to get to my next phone call. I'm glad that you're okay. And I'll be giving you a call in the next couple of months or whatever it is that you do. You're just checking up on your people because you actually care about them. So, that adds to the meaningful. And this makes for such you being a better person and also just having a better business. I realized that as I became better with business, I became a better person because I didn't have a process for calling people, even family members. Like you didn't hear from me for like 6 to 7, 8 months, right? But now you were hearing from me more regularly because of this business saying, hey, you need to reach out to your family because guess what? They want to hear from you. You want to reach out to your friends because your friends want to hear from you. You don't want to be that person that's just calling somebody when your tire blew out.
That's right.
And all of a sudden you need somebody. People take notice. People say, man, the only time such and such called me is when they need money. Here's a trick for you guys. If you think you're gonna borrow some money, start making them phone calls now, and then that way, in a month or 2 months from now, when you ask for it, it doesn't come off as cold as it probably possibly could. There's a caring involved with it. So the meaningful relationship is huge, brother. Huge.
Meaningful relationships. That's powerful right there. What you just said. That's powerful. Listen, here's the other thing. Someone said blessings.
Blessings to you all. It just says Facebook user, so
yeah. But sometimes people they kind of hover over it, but they wanted to stop by and say something. So we definitely recognize you, Mr. and Mrs. Facebook user. And listen, when we're out there and we're talking with people, I don't know. I want to ask Mike about this because I'm gonna tell you about me a little bit, and then I'm gonna ask Mike about this because we want to close out in just a few minutes, so I'm gonna keep my piece real short. But okay, so I got this acronym. It's HIGH. I believe that you have to stay high, and to fully understand what that means is HIGH means honesty, integrity, filled, genuine, and humble. Right? This is how you want to stay. Sometimes what ends up happening is people want to put on airs about who they aren't to impress whoever you are when it comes down to relationship development. But I believe as long as you stay high, you stay honest, you keep your integrity, you're genuine throughout the entire process, and you're humble, that sometimes people will even take or buy or receive the offer that you have, even if you aren't the most skilled in the room, because they trust in you. People don't want, and this is no knock on car salesmen, but the old car salesman or the old insurance, type of thought process is that, they just want to sell me something. They don't really care about who I am or whether it actually serves me. And it's just, I don't want that to be true with me. I'd rather you tell me no, and we keep a genuine relationship than you tell me yes and think I'm a jerk for the rest of my life. What do you say? I think Facebook cannot pronounce my well-being. It's supernatural well-being. Wanted to thank you, gentlemen, for your work. You guys are always on it. I love it. Supernatural well-being. I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, long time ago. Yeah. Brother, appreciate you.
Yeah, much love. So Mike, how do you approach that as far as being vulnerable, as far as being genuine, with the people that you're talking with?
I love that. That's an excellent question. And someone asked that question earlier in one of our masterminds. A young lady, she's a realtor, been a realtor for a while, and she says, "Are you actually?" And she was asking this question because she was trying to figure out, are you actually empathetic with the client's needs, or are you actually empathetic with whatever the client is going on with the client, brother? And to be honest, myself, I have no issue with being honest. The integrity, I think that's all part of having a great business. I think going into business, you have to have, especially the businesses that we're in, it's so intimate. It's for me in real estate, it's one of the biggest life transitions most people make is moving or selling, like it's huge, you know what I mean? And the business you're in is the same way, whether it's coaching or whether it's you know, dealing with the financial instruments, etc. Like you have to really be in depth, and you have to really, I personally think you have to really want to care about people's well-being. And I think it goes beyond more so than just the business of it. It's just your character, right? I think one of the biggest things that why we decided to do Community Beacons, we often talk about legacy. Part of the legacy portion is that your child or children or people or your family, and I heard Dame Dash talk about it, you know, in regards to your last name, hustling for your last name, to make it easier for your family maneuver. I want to be able to see Jonah or someone see Jonah and they say, Jonah who? Jonah Simmons? Yeah, your father is your father. Is your father Joel Simmons? Yeah, okay, listen, come on over here. You know, let's have a conversation. I love your father. I like what he does. He helped me out, you know, in this case, or I heard he helped a friend or family out, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just like, if you want a flash in the pan business, then, and you can, right? You can make a quick, I told someone this the other day, you can make a quick 100,000, probably in this environment of internet, you can make a quick 100 to 200, $300,000 without honesty, integrity, nothing. You just go on there, you're selling people dreams. It happens all the time. I see these characters. You don't see them 2, 3, 4 years down the line.
Mm.
You don't see people who don't care and only care about themselves and don't care about the person. You don't see the real estate's the same way. We have a huge attrition rate with realtors. I think it's almost like 80 to 90% aren't in the business 5 years down the line. There's more to it than just the integrity part of it. However, if you don't have a real natural care for somebody, it's going to be and aren't able to produce the results that you say you're going to produce for that person. Only way you're going to produce the results that they want is by understanding their needs. Because once again, selling the house is not rocket science. Communicating how you do it, having the process to do it, actually caring about having this meaningful relationship, because the easiest way to get business is for someone to refer you. Right. And the only way someone's going to refer you is because you did a great job for them and they know that you cared for their interests, their results, whatever results it was that they wanted. So we can play this game of, you know, not being what's the honest. You can not have integrity. You cannot have, you know, you may not necessarily be humble, but after a while, people are going to find out. So what are you in it for? Are you in it for this short little while, which is, I'm not judging anybody, but that's up to you. You can make a quick buck. Or are you in it for the long haul in this business and industry? Anyone who's been in businesses and industries for the long haul, they have some type of integrity. They might say, hey, listen, I don't necessarily like that person's personality, but I know he gets the job done. What's the job? He got me the results that I wanted or needed. And the only way you're going to get to that is by actually understanding and caring, having some type of empathy for a person. You know, or want to have the empathy or to understand it, you know, so that's my thought process on it, brother.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. Empathy. And it, you know, it's funny about that, you know, because when we first started this show up, you know, that was something that was like not one of your greatest attributes, but it is extreme. It's just like shining at this point in time, you know, and you and I don't know, bro, because you've always been extremely empathetic to me. Always. There's been some times when I heard you take a deep breath. You know, don't get me wrong.
You know what? I think being able to, you know, and this has been an excellent year, especially in regards to training, etc., is to be able to communicate stuff, because you know, at one point in time, I'm just so results oriented and based. And guys, I'm a loner. I have no problem sitting in my room with the lights off and looking up at the ceiling. Like I can look at the ceiling for hours and be in my own thought and process, you know, on my own thoughts and mindset in regards to just how do I get this result? How do I get this result? It wasn't until, like I said, I had conversations with my mentors and trainers. Like, it's like Mike, and I just explained it before. Anyone can sell a house. Like you sell a house. There's certain processes. It's what is exactly going on. Why are people doing it? You know, why are they doing it? What's behind it? You know what I mean? What's the and what's stopping them from doing it? What makes them want to do it? Like what are the needs that they have? Once you figure that out, once you figure the actual, and some people on the other end, they can't necessarily even explain it. You know, like your prospect sometimes can't communicate it. So it's us as the professionals with the information. It's up to us to kind of uncover. That's what sales is really about. It's uncovering the actual motivation for this person. Oh, I want to sell this house. Why do you want to sell this house? Oh, it's money. Oh, yeah, because you're getting good money for it. Oh, okay, I understand that. But where are you going to go after you sell? Oh, I'm going up to New York. Yeah, my grandkids are up in New York, and I want to be around them. Boom. It's not even about the money no more. Once you separate it, yeah, I'm going to get you the most amount of money and not leave money on the table. But more so than that, I'm going to get you up to be with your grandkids because family is very important to you, right? So it's like it's uncovering and going deep into it, and you're like, okay, cool, because money is just money. And if it was all about money, everybody would have sold their homes 4 or 5 months ago, right? When everybody would have sold, right? It's not that.
Beautiful. I love it. Seeking out your prospects. Why? So that you can help them to achieve what it really is that's burning inside of their heart. I think that's beautiful. That's a mic drop, y'all. That's a mic drop. Love it.
All right,
listen,
guys.
We're getting ready to take off. I want to introduce this. We're going to be doing something special in Riviera Beach. It's coming up real soon. Program, so be on the lookout for that. Should be in November, starting November. At the very latest, it'll be in December, and we're going to be doing this with Parks and Rec. So y'all will see me out there in the streets with the people. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be about a 7-month program, so we're looking forward to that. All right, and Coffee with Liddy and Joel's coming up real soon. Brother, what do you got going on in the near future?
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Excellent. Guys, I am getting certified in breath work. It's called Emergence Breath Work. I just did my first part of the certification, and this is really just about helping people and helping people get aligned with themselves and uncovering some things. The second part of my certification will come up in January. January 13th, I believe, is when we'll be starting the second part of the class. And then, of course, I'll be doing some clinical hours, etc. afterwards. I'm excited about it because this is like at the core of, kind of giving back. At the same time, it works for me. Emergence breath work. They're also on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Jamar's Enlightenment Center right on North Lake. You can go check it out. It is life-changing. It is amazing. I'll keep you up to date with that. Other than that, it's real estate, brother.
Love it. All right, y'all, listen. We absolutely love that you all were up in here. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the likes, the love, the care, the comments, the concerns. We are very grateful to have you. Supernatural Well-Being, Kathy Simmons. Who else was that? Lolita, I think it was. We appreciate all of y'all. Anna, thank you for your time with us. Remember, please go to Michael Seville's YouTube. All right. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Go to Tenacity Foundation YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. The bell means ding, you know that we're coming live or that we've got a program showing up, and we want you to be there with us having this type of discussion. If you want to hit us up on the side, on the DM, throw that inside there, let us know, and we'll reach out to you. We'll make sure that we contact you. We'll do the follow-up, all right? We are going to do the follow-up so that we can make sure that this relationship is built with meaningfulness and success. Love you. We are out of here. Peace.